Good morning. My name is Sorin Learschi, Rear Admiral, retired, and I like to be a very efficient solution for you to have one good opportunity to attack one very famous subject, because the panel number 2B, unnamed system in the Black Sea region, smart approach, fast development, it's the most important subject now and in the future. I'm happy to present you 6 panelists, 3 in physical and 3 via VTC. This is the best solution because the distance and the pandemic condition provide this solution. And at the beginning, I want to present the list of the panelists. Rear Admiral Mihai Panait, Chief of Naval Forces, Romania. Captain on the Navy, of course, Yuri Kovaliov, Deputy Chief Military Intelligence for ISR, Minister of Defense, Romania. This is the part for, it's one part of the panelists. And the second part is the provider for different unnamed systems. General retired Frank Gorenc, consultant for General Atomics Aeronautical System, United States, will be via VTC. Rear Admiral Noam Feig, Senior Naval Consultant, Elbit System from Israel, via VTC. Mr. Geraint Lloyd, Business Development and Strategy Director of U-TacS UK, is here. And Captain, retired, Tzahi Appelman, Consultant for Maritime and Advanced Program in EIE company. The time is very short. I propose you to have only 7, maximum 10 minutes for each panelist in order to have at the final time for questions and answers. It's not necessary to provide you one extensive presentation of the subject. We are in the military field, an economical field, and we are together one single team. UAV maybe is the future, but in this moment we have one simple solution. And technology, improvement of the technology will provide more and more capabilities. The definition of the unnamed systems is very large. It's possible to talk about parking system on board our car. It's one type. But in the military field, in special for reconnaissance, intelligence, but of course for fight, it's another problem. The last wars or crisis moment provided us a lot of new challenges. A lot of countries try to build, to improve the technology, to buy different systems in accord with the tactical and strategical requirements. I want to present you for the start Rear Admiral Mihai Panait, Chief of Naval Forces Romania. He is one veteran of battlefield with a lot of participation like a commanding officer on board different ships and in different operations, which include Atalanta operation in the Indian Ocean, Unified Protector in Libya, a lot of extensive missions in the Mediterranean Sea, and of course, after that, with a very important position like Deputy Chief of Romanian Naval Forces for Operation and Training, Fleet Commander, and since 2020, he was appointed as the Chief of Romanian Naval Forces. I want to inform you in June 2021 was one conference, maybe with a similar subject, organized by the Romanian Naval Staff with a very interesting presentation, good for have a complete image of the subject. I invite Admiral Panait to present us a short presentation. I hope to be short.
Thank you very much, Admiral. Good morning to everybody. First of all, I would like to congratulate our hosts for their success in organizing the 5th edition of Black Sea and Balkan Security Forum 2021, especially if we take into consideration current COVID-19 restrictive conditions. And secondly, I want to thank you, Dan, for the opportunity given to me to present you some information related to the main theme of this event. The Romanian Naval Forces Conference few months ago, it was planned, organized in order to develop the understanding in this very important domain. This is the agenda. Today I will present you some considerations related to emergent, disruptive, and innovative technologies, or the so-called EDIT, and the challenges they bring into our current and future activities. During my presentation, I will cover some general aspects on the subject, as well as some particular views on this matter, based on the specifics of our missions, operations, and areas of operation. Sorry. Technology has proven to be a two-edged sword throughout the centuries. However, has used novelty in knowing and understanding what was happening in his area of interest, or in employing its forces, has had success on his side most of the times. Like bow and arrows in the past, or missiles during the last World War. Current disruptive and emergent technologies can be the elements that might tilt the balance in favor of the winner. Implemented by military planners or engineers, big data and advanced analytics, quantum technologies, or any of these new technologies can do the same in the future conflicts. Moreover, By combining these technologies in a synergic manner, more powerful capabilities can be developed and used by maritime forces. The defense and security environment itself is changing, driven by the evolving nature of conflict and geopolitical factors. Chaos, complexity, and competition are said to be the defining characteristics of this future. Geopolitical challenges are expected to grow over the next 20 years, and development of disruptive and innovative technologies will bring operational challenges. This will affect, of course, the Black Sea region, its riparian countries, and not only. The Black Sea region has a crucial significance for Europe, being a major crossroads and critical intersection of east-west and south-north transport corridors. The region is home to 3 NATO members, Bulgaria, Romania, and Turkey, and several NATO partner countries, NATO PFP countries, so any instability or hostility in the area directly impacts the alliance. After occupying the Crimean Peninsula in 2014, the Russian Federation has deployed troops and developed a sustained program to modernize the capabilities in the area. New surface and submarine platforms, anti-aircraft missile systems, cruise and ballistic missiles, A2AD technology, as well as modern C4 ISR assets have been received by the Black Sea Russian fleet. It's okay. Our potential military opponents or competitors like China and Russia are currently engaged in developing unmanned and autonomous systems that are designed to operate together in swarms using artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will solve the problem of controlling the swarm of drones under various changing circumstances. Given the relatively inexpensive price of a single drone, losing one in conflict would not significantly alter the outcome of a naval operation. These drones could potentially be launched by naval or commercial vessels and by aircraft or helicopters. A particular concern would be drones launched from commercial vessels, as it gives the adversary the benefit of plausible deniability. In addition, employing them in this way during times of crisis would make them a serious threat to surface ships or submarines operating close to the surface, especially in high traffic areas where monitoring civilian ships activities could prove problematic. Achieving and maintaining information superiority is always a challenge, especially in the digital era. While internet makes available huge quantities of data and information for everybody, armed forces, adversary, or central actors, this situation can be seen as a blessing, but at the same can turn into a curse. For instance, in recent years, we have seen an increasing interest by various social media users in doing open source intelligence or SIN, particularly in spotting Navy ships at sea or in naval bases. But this non-official OSINT activity can be viewed as both an opportunity and as a threat. The opportunity derives from the fact that it can sometimes augment our maritime domain awareness, basically free of charge. Technological advances of commercial satellites have the potential to change the present state of affairs, and navies should think ahead of ways to counter this potential threat. We are operating in an environment where time and accurate information is crucial for the success of an operation. Over the next years, along with emergent and disruptive technologies and materials, innovative technologies could develop and extend to maritime capabilities creating a new threat for naval vessels. As costs to produce this kind of capabilities might decrease, their use and employment by state and non-state actors will increase both in number and effectiveness. The advantages using hypersonic weapons include the fact that it is extremely difficult for adversary to prepare. Challenges include the necessity to improve aircraft control and guidance to help ensure accuracy and avoid in-flight accidents or loss of control of hypersonic vehicles. The wider use of EDIT will create a lot of opportunities in performing our tasks and missions more efficient and more effectively, therefore posing a more credible threats to our adversaries. All these new capabilities will require additional force protection assets with explicit counter capabilities. Thus, this will span the spectrum of hard and soft kill options, such as electronic countermeasures, cyber, kinetic kills, directed energy weapons, interceptor. Ultimately, it will cost more time, energy, and money for adversaries to defend against attacks using innovative and disruptive technologies than to overcome them. Taking into consideration these opportunities and threats and conducting a quick overall SWOT analysis, we can conclude that we should look more closely and carefully to our forces and their capabilities in order to identify and protect our current and future potential vulnerabilities, and at the same time to improve our strength and use them wisely. Speaking about the Romanian naval forces, a well-sized and equipped naval force can be an instrument of foreign security policy, promoting the country's image through the presence of the national flag on the world seas and oceans. Romanian Naval Forces is currently involved in the modernization and endowment process, which started in 2017, when Romania began to allocate at least 2% of GDP for defense expenditure. The fact that approximately 20% of this budget is allocated for new capability endowment or modernization process gives us confidence that our plans will become a reality and they will not let us on a shelf. That refers to the acquisition of new ships, naval strike systems, maritime unmanned system, implementation of broadcast and ship-shore and integrated system of observation, surveillance and control of traffic on the Black Sea, along with increase of air, diver, hydrographic and marine capabilities. The modernization of the Romanian naval forces will have valuable effects not only to support the national security, but will also have a beneficial impact on our support to the maritime security in the extended Black Sea region. Our goal is to build a modern, well-sized and equipped naval force capable to counter current and emerging threats, and to do it, we are making efforts to identify and implement the right solutions, taking advantage of EDIT in building our capabilities and in tackling the threats posed by our adversary capabilities. Adoption of innovative and disruptive technologies would speed up the modernization of the armed forces. High technology would transform military decision-making by reforming and simplifying C2, command and control. Of course, the main purpose of increasing exploiting the high technology is to gain an edge over the enemy in future military conflict. As more of this technology is integrated into the armed forces, for sure it will compel further modifications to the recruitment, training and education of the personnel. With a possible deterioration of the security environment in the Black Sea region, innovative and disruptive technologies could become a very good solution. ladies and gentlemen, EDIT, from my point of view, will play a vital role in our future fleet. Successfully integrating unmanned platforms under, on, and above the sea gives our commanders better options to fight in contested spaces. I hope my presentation contributed to a better understanding of emergent, innovative, and disruptive technologies and how they can threaten maritime security. Thank you for your attention, and I am ready to answer the question you might have. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Admiral.
Thank you, Admiral, for your very interesting presentation. I cover a lot of aspect for Romanian Navy, and you integrated different solution in one single force, Romanian Navy. Thank you very much. The next speaker is Captain Yuri Alexandru Kovaliov. Yuri Kovaliov graduated Mircea cel Bătrân Naval Academy in 1994 and started his military career as chief of communication on board different type of ships, and after that at the squadron level and brigade level. He changed the position for a new position in Navy staff, like a chief of public relations department, but after few courses and training, like a master degree in military science and intelligence with a specialty in security and defense at the King's College London, University of London in 2007, and advanced command and staff courses also in the United Kingdom in 2007. And in 2011, he completed a PhD in military science and in intelligence at the National Defense University, Carol I of Bucharest. Maybe was the start, because he changed the position in the military, like a military air and naval attaché of Romania. First of all, deputy in Russia, and after that, full in position, like attaché in Ukraine. In 2019, Captain Yuri Alexandru Kovaleov underwent the leadership postgraduate course, current aspect of national security at the National Defense College, the National Defense University, Carol I in Bucharest. He represents now Minister of Defense, in fact, Department for Military Information, with a good position for ISR. Captain, please.
Admiral, thank you very much for the introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you for the invitation. Today's topic is indeed complex and challenging, and we will try with our expertise to make some remarks about the importance of the unmanned systems needed for the Black Sea region. Okay. It's well known that the Black Sea region is characterized by diversity of political, economic, and security interests. Even the definition of the Black Sea region has many interpretations. In my short brief, we will draw attention on the Black Sea region security situation in order to identify the unmanned requirements and solutions. The possible solutions for a smart approach are focused on three pillars. The first one is development on new surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities focused on unmanned systems. The second one is based on integration of these capabilities, and finally the cooperation between the stakeholders for implementing the first two. Speaking a little bit about the security challenges in the Black Sea region, security situation in the Black Sea region continues to be volatile, albeit presently stable. Russia continues to represent the dominant actor in the Black Sea region, its policies being driven by the geopolitical and security objectives on the southwestern strategic direction, in the line with its strategy aiming to maintain control over the so-called near abroad and deter NATO enlargement in the region. Russian Federation actions represent the main security challenge for Romania, as they endanger the regional security environment from the perspective of the following actions. The first one, which is still actually is providing active support for separatist factions in Donbass, in Ukraine. Use of Crimean Peninsula as a forward operating base to project power in the Black Sea and the Eastern Mediterranean. Enhance the military capabilities in Crimea, South Military District, and within the Black Sea Fleet. Also developing dual capable long-range weapon systems and illegally maintained troops on the territory of the Republic of Moldova and Georgia. Moscow continues to have maximal goals regarding the Black Sea region, which are supported by a well-articulated military strategy. Russia's military strategy in the region unfolds three lines of effort: capacity building, force readiness, and force projection. Therefore, the process of rearmament with new and modern weapon systems, as well as maintaining a dominant military posture in the Black Sea region, have a negative impact on the riparian states' security interests, including Romania, and generate military and non-military risks and threats. It seems that, okay, thank you. Moscow views NATO as a major threat to its security and characterizes its actions in the region as defensive and prompted by an unjustified increased NATO presence. Russia's efforts to increase its military combat power along the eastern flank of the alliance, including Romania's proximity, have been materialized through the implementation of the anti-access area denial strategy along the north-south axis from the Baltic Sea to the Black Sea, negatively impacting the freedom of movement and navigation of NATO's forces in the Russian Federation area of interest during a potential crisis. Excuse me. On the slide, you can see a short sketch about Russian Federation A2 capabilities into the Black Sea. As the INF Treaty is no longer in effect, Moscow could use this opportunity to extend the range of Iskander missile up to 2,500 kilometers. Moscow has also extended its ground-based A2AD environment, prioritizing the upgrade of coastal and air defenses, including a variety of dual-capable ground and naval assets. Those systems, such as S-400, reinforced by short-range surface-to-air missile systems, add depth and expand Russian coverage in the region. To conclude, we assess that in comparison with other Russian A2 AD environments, the one established in the Black Sea region is the most capable and can deter or disrupt the NATO or allied support of a targeted country in the region, including Romania. Next slide, please. One back. Sorry for this. Okay, thank you. Present and future military and security-related missions are confronted more and more by unconventional challenges. The relevance of unmanned systems or drones, how they are used in day-by-day terminology, are constantly rising in different fields. This is due to drones' ability to offer live stream, real-time video and image capture, along with the ability to fly and transport goods. In fact, the use of drones is not limited to commercial or personal aims. Equally, unmanned systems offers great opportunities for military structures in order to accomplish their missions, especially in terms of intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. Maritime situational awareness is mainly supported by this type of systems. Surveillance and reconnaissance coverage in the Black Sea region is made by a compilation between unmanned systems and other types of sensors. I'm talking about synthetic aperture radar, ground-moving target indicators, space-based automated identification systems and platforms, and of course ships and MPAs. The radar coverage in Black Sea region is used to make assessments on maritime traffic and pattern of life along the sea line of communications. Unmanned systems now hold a central role, and it will be more and more efficient in modern operations aimed to surveillance and reconnaissance in many fields, including surface and underwater. Maritime situational awareness is based on collection, process, automated processing, exploitation, and dissemination, and finally on fusion center. ENG is one of the main surveillance and reconnaissance assets. Such systems will include both advanced unmanned aircraft systems, unmanned underwater vehicles, and unmanned surface vessels. Admiral Panait has mentioned during his presentation a little bit about the importance of all these three unmanned systems. In our view, manned-unmanned team is likely to be a successful solution of future maritime situational awareness capabilities due to the opportunity to minimize the human exposure to many danger situations which may occur. A long-range unmanned systems has many advantages. You can see on the slide. In order to use these capabilities at full potential, we will need strong and reliable emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, and cloud computing. Along with these new capabilities, a lot of data and information is collected, which requires advanced tools for processing. We have to be conscious that all this data, without being well processed, is or has more or less relevance. Using that type of approach, we are facing many challenges. What are the platforms needed? Which is the best combination of platforms or systems to have maximum efficiency? Is the command and control relationship better optimized? All these capabilities are using the same technical and operational standards. So these are questions which have to be answered in order to make the proper choice. Regional cooperation is very important as the military technology is not cheap. In order to be cost effective, we need partners to split the bill. The ideal way is to attract all stakeholders involved in this business. As I presented in the first part, for the moment, not all the Black Sea region states share the same opinion, so we need to identify a common interest for sharing resources and split the advantages. Nowadays, the technological development is indeed logarithmic, and we need to develop the surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities with an open architecture, which has some advantages like flexibility, modularity, rapidly configurable, and adaptability. A solution for a better control of the Black Sea could be a regional initiative for sharing and pooling of both collection capabilities. This concept, sharing and pooling, is not new, but it seems that it's back on the table. To conclude, we discussed in the first part about the Black Sea security situation, which was the trigger for the need of new capabilities in the region. In order to have more unmanned capabilities, we need to develop them and integrate them. An unmanned system as part of surveillance and reconnaissance capabilities makes the difference between the mission failure and the mission success. Collection capabilities still remain a real challenge for NATO riparian states, together with our partners, in order to have a common picture of the Black Sea, and the cooperation between us is the key of success. This sharing and pooling will be able to grow and develop regional initiatives and partnership, although the final goal will remain to develop together ISR capabilities. Thank you very much, Admiral.
Thank you, Captain, for your very interesting but long presentation.
Sorry.
And we start with another speaker, General retired Frank Gorenc, consultant for General Atomics Aeronautical System Company. General Gorenc retired from the United States Air Force after 36 years of activity. His career culminated as Commander United States Air Force Europe, Commander United States Air Force Africa, Commander NATO Allied Air Command at Ramstein Air Base, but with another position, Joint Air Power Competence Center, Kalkar, Germany. The general was born in Ljubljana, in Slovenia. He was commissioned after graduated United States Air Force Academy in 1979. And it's a pilot with over 4,800 hours on board different type of aircraft. He involved in Operation Desert Storm, Provide Comfort, Southern Watch, Northern Watch, Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, Odyssey Dawn, Unified Protector, and Inherent Resolve. It's in his education, it's one Bachelor of Science degree in Civilian Engineering, a Master of Aeronautical Science, and Master of Science degree in National Security. Please, General, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Greetings from Williamsburg. I'm happy to address the forum this morning to discuss Black Sea security issues, and then, of course, represent General Atomics on the panel to offer up some potential solutions. I wanted to start this morning with a couple of thoughts based on my experience as a NATO and a senior Air Force leader. Over my career, I had to focus on several different processes at the strategic level and the operational and the tactical level. And I wanted to share that with you briefly before I offered up some solutions. Strategically, we always had to understand the threat and the geopolitical situations that might require the military instrument of power, whether we did it alone or in coalition of the willing or the alliance. We had to accommodate for the spectrum of conflict. In the US, that spectrum is competition, deterrence, and then conflict. In the NATO context, it's evolved to shaping, contesting, and fighting. Of course, NATO's focus is deterrence. The reality is if deterrence fails, then we had to actually win. We had to strategically understand civilian leadership's intent and their aspirations. We had to organize, train, equip, deploy, and employ military forces. And then on top of that, strategically, we had to build capability and capacity, which basically for me in my Air Force career meant air superiority, mobility, strike, ISR, and command and control. Over time, those core missions had to be done persistently, is what we found. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. Operationally, we had to develop courses of action to address the threat. And once selected, we had to execute that course of action selected by the commander with precision. Tactically, we had to execute the kill chain. We had to find, fix, track, target, engage, and assess every target that was on the list. We had to establish pattern of life analysis, which of course is enabled by persistent ISR. And then we had to provide actionable ISR and provide ISR to the established commander indication and warning systems. For the US and most other partners in Europe, we always kept in mind an important fact. We prefer to go to combat with partners and allies. Therefore, we always put a premium on interoperability, particularly when delivering combat power from the air. This interoperability can be achieved in many ways. Some of them were already mentioned, but for me, the big ones were common platform interoperability, common tactic, techniques, and procedure interoperability, data interoperability, intelligence sharing interoperability, pooling and sharing, which was mentioned by the colonel. And then, of course, alliance professional development of the people that were actually doing the mission. And then finally, as a former NATO commander, I'd like to highlight the fact that NATO is and remains a defensive alliance. As a result, NATO tends to have a defensive mindset, but the new NATO military strategic framework is evolving and forcing the alliance to look into the challenge of the future battle space, that future battle space being defined as boundless, persistent, and simultaneous. That NATO military strategic framework consists of 3 documents: a threat-based military strategy, a threat-based concept for the deterrence and defense of the Euro-Atlantic area, the DDA, which describes today's employment of the military instrument of power, and then a capability-based but threat-informed NATO warfighting capstone concept, which describes the development and future employment of the military instrument of power with a 20-year time horizon. The bottom line for that strategic framework is success will be a military defense design that can outthink, out-excel, outfight, outpace, outpartner, and outlast any adversary. And so it's safe to say for the future environment, maximum effectiveness of the military instrument of power in Europe as a NATO alliance, for the EU in whatever mode the EU wants to be in, for any individual nation, is the ability to understand the threat, to understand the environment, and to know the battle space. That, of course, requires ISR, persistent ISR. And of course, ISR comes from a variety of sources, but I believe ISR from the medium altitude, long range platform system is absolutely critical for any nation's sovereign capabilities, for any coalition of the willings in the alliance capability that's brought together. And with that, I'd like to transition, to General Atomics offering in this area, particularly in the medium altitude, long endurance capability. Next slide. The bottom line is the best in breed, I believe, from General Atomics is the MQ-9B. It's long range, it's persistent, it's flexible, but more importantly, it's proven. You can see the range. The bottom line is it has an ability to get there. You can see the persistence with a 40-hour endurance. It has the ability to stay there. You can see the flexibility on the payload. Those payloads can be sovereign, they can be multi-mission, they can be kinetic, they can be non-kinetic. You can see the flexible global airspace access offered up by the MQ-9B. It's STANAG 4671 certified. It has a certified detect and avoid system, and it's also all weather. Over the years, it's been a proven performer. 90% reliable. Last year, GA products flew 600,000 hours from 80 locations. And I mentioned the best in breed. It has proven innovation. General Atomics has innovated, and usually it's in the culmination of significant investment by the company, with the effort not only for capability, but for support and for sustainment. And it has continuing innovation ahead to reduce what is most feared about unmanned systems, and that's the ability to reduce cost, manpower, to introduce autonomy if desired, to introduce the ability to do artificial intelligence, but most importantly, to handle all of the data through the ability to PED that data, which of course is to process, exploit, and disseminate that data. And then of course, the MQ-9B gives the opportunity for NATO partners and sovereign nations, when they join a coalition of the willing, to be common platform interoperable. I showed already below in the bottom of the slide, I have the list of current operators and the list of operators soon to come with respect to the Reaper. Next slide. This slide is to demonstrate the flexibility of the Reaper, to demonstrate all of the mission areas that have been mentioned by the Admiral and the Colonel with respect to what we need to do. And then also it basically scratches the discussion with respect to the concept of manned-unmanned teaming, particularly when countries are investing in manned platforms that basically do a similar mission. But in the end, the MQ-9 is currently configured, has the capability to contribute into all of those missions listed. I mentioned kinetic, non-kinetic. Everybody's aware of what the General Atomics product line has done in the global war on terror, but there are other configurations of the air mission that can be done directly with this platform, particularly in the area of maritime, both with maritime awareness and anti-submarine warfare. It continues its capability to support the intel effort in SIGINT area. I already mentioned the maritime contributions and the ability to contribute and enable other platforms with respect to information. It has early warning potential. It can certainly do the comms gateway, and it also is moving into the electronic attack and the wide area surveillance effort, all while having the ability to protect itself. There are other things being developed, and it has a tremendous capability to contribute to the situational awareness needed not only by individual nations, but by alliances and coalitions of the willing to handle all areas that are becoming contested, particularly in the Black Sea. Next slide. I look forward to your questions. Thank you for the opportunity to be on the panel. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Was a very interesting presentation with a high level of technology provided by your company. And in the future, I hope to see in Romania different type of air components, but in the same time, it's a challenge for all to provide underwater components or terrestrial. But of course, your production is at a very, very high level of technology. Thank you very much, General. I don't know, if we have a connection with Mr. Noam Feig. Noam? Maybe it's a technical problem. It's okay?
Can you hear me?
Now, I want to salute you, Noam. Noam, it's our friend, good friend with some connection in Romania with relatives, and it's a Navy officer with a long career in the Israel Navy, but in his CV provide only information for the actual position. Today, it's a founder and CEO of Maritime Consultancy and senior naval consultant, Elbit System Israel. Mr. Feig will provide
Yes, sir.
a very short presentation. Noam,
Okay, can you hear
please
me?
help me.
I
have
will
the floor.
help you. First of all, it's a great honor to meet you again, Admiral Sorin, and also Admiral Panait. It's a great honor to participate to this conference again. I hope that you hear me, and I will start with my presentation. Please approve that you hear me, please. Do you hear me, gentlemen?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Puneți prezentarea, vă rog.
Okay, so first, we'll start with the Black Sea easy national assets. As far as we see, we're looking on the exclusive economic zone, and our concern is how to secure and defend the national interest at the exclusive economic zone. When we're looking on the maritime challenges, we see all this variety of challenges, but as far as we looked on the Black Sea, I would think that first of all, the exclusive economic zone control and maritime security is one of the main challenges. Providing a maritime domain awareness as the Admiral Panait said, and also the captain that lectured before me, we're concentrating on SW and SUW emissions, and of course securing maritime facilities. Our strength as Elbit as a company, first of all, we are in an unmanned solution for aerial, maritime, and land solution. We have more than 30 years of operational experience, and we are focusing on a mission, not on flying and sailing. We have fully autonomic solutions, and our operators doesn't deal with sailing the platform or flying the platform. He's dealing on concentrating on the mission, and therefore he's more focused on what he has to do. Although we have more than 30 years of operational experience, we have our ongoing state-of-the-art system, and we are updating the technology on our platforms according to the customer needs and according to new developments that we are achieving. We have an EW and electro-optic systems. We are providing them, and they're very modern systems that are also are on board many NATO platforms and are the state-of-the-art solutions. We're concentrating on maritime awareness, securing the exclusive economic zone, and providing homeland security. Our company is investing around 10% of our revenue on R&D, and therefore this allows us to update the systems and provide the customer the best solution for the needs. And also we are a system integration that can adapt many techniques and many systems into one integrated solution. When we are looking at the platforms that we are designing, we are thinking, first of all, what is the operational need? And we design the platform according to the operational need. We don't do the operation according to the platform. We are vice versa. We design the platform to the mission, and therefore it's adapted and allow us to provide a very efficient solution. Another thing that we are doing once we design the platform, we're looking for the relative advantage. Where unmanned solution, we can bring a relative advantage, and therefore we're pointing on the UAVs, on the ISO test, on the USVs, underwater mission. We test ourselves for a few years, and we decide that these two main tasks are the main issues that we can gain more relative advantage operating unmanned capabilities. We have a command control from the same mission control station. We are controlling all the capabilities from the same mission control. Our unmanned capabilities are highly autonomous, and we have also a patent on the USV for the navigation rules. We are modular, advanced system capabilities, and open architecture concept, as the captain said, it's one of the demands. And we can upgrade and do many changes according to new techniques or according to the needs of the customer, in this case, the Romanian Navy or Romanian nation. I will concentrate on the UAV, on the Hermes 450, is that it's a class 2 platform. And this is these are the specifications of the platforms, and you can see due to class 2 we have more than 17 hours of endurance, and we can carry a payload of 550 kilograms that allow us to carry the most important payloads to the missions. Our concept is a multi-mission system and a multi-mission payload. Our system includes 3 UAVs, mission payloads that I will mention in a minute, mission control station, as I mentioned before, and of course, ILS support and equipment. Our USV can support several missions with a variety of payloads simultaneously. And this is an example of all the payloads that the Hermes 450 can carry. It can be from electro-optic device, maritime patrol radar with all the needs, as was mentioned by the captain, like a SAR or like detecting moving targets. We have Ellington Comet solution carrying on the UAV, of course AIS, search and rescue solutions, mapping, and of course other multi-missions payload. The sonobuoys is something that we believe it's part of the underwater capabilities that we can support, integrated with our capabilities of unmanned solutions that I will mention in a minute. So for the main missions of the UAV, as far as we are looking at it, is of course the maritime domain awareness, maritime surveillance operation, intelligence need, electronic warfare capabilities, SUW, undersurface warfare and anti-submarine warfare, and of course homeland security. For the maritime patrol solution, we provide a large area of coverage for the surveillance due to the endurance and the maritime patrol radar, detect and identify with all the capabilities that are mentioned here, the radar, AIS, ELINT and the Comet capabilities, and of course electro-optic devices. And the maritime domain awareness by detecting, processing, classify, and identify targets, fusion them into one solution, and making the data and information into knowledge. This is the difference between collecting and knowledge. For electronic warfare mission, we can combine UAV with USV, detecting emitters from both of them. The mission controller with the C5I, including all the capabilities, will provide a fix. Another UAV will do the radar detection, and of course, with the electro-optic and AIS, we will bring the identification, and we will provide a maritime domain awareness, and of course, it's part of the mission. One word about the SW mission, because I think this is one of the advantages of the unmanned solutions that we can provide, combining between a UAV and USV at the same time. So the UAV solution for the maritime ASW mission is using a radar and electro-optic device for periscope detection, sonobuoys for sonar detection, and of course relay them toward the ASW control mission. Also, one word about the USV system that can be part of an integrated solution. Our USV is emphasis on underwater mission. We believe this is the main advantage. So the two missions, MCM and ASW mission, and we have two configurations according to the regulation of the country and the customer need. It can be fully unmanned, or it can be manned or unmanned with a cockpit that allow 2 to 3 operators to operate it if it will demand to be manned. According to some countries, their regulation, you must keep them manned inside the USV. So combining them both under one mission control station, it can be a ground control station, it can be onboard a CIC consoles, or it can be in a national command control centers, controlling UAVs, USVs from the same station. And of course, the communication can be line of sight and SAT communications that coverage any distances that you need. So our unique solution, first of all, we are open for TOT, transfer of technology. We are doing it with Romania for many years. We are sharing experience and CONOPS with our customers. Our solution is a cost-effective and efficient solution for operational needs. We believe that we can tailor the solution for the Romanian national requirements and for the Romanian Navy, of course. And we provide the local industries independent capabilities on producing, integration, and maintenance our solution. Admiral Sorin, I hope that I was efficient enough and stand by the time and help you as you asked. Thank you very much, gentlemen, and Admiral Panait. I hope that I will be able to meet you in the near future, not from a Zoom conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Noam. You are very expeditive. Thank you very much again. And I want to have a new step to present you Mr. Geraint Lloyd, Business Development and Strategy Director of U-TacS, United Kingdom, is present here. It's responsible for Watchkeeper X system and building local industrial partnership in Europe, including transfer of technology and manufacturing after a short service commissioning in Royal Navy. He has since worked in the number of business development roles for Thales, Ultra, BAE System, and Rolls-Royce. A lot of huge company, in fact, huge experience. Please, Mr. Lloyd.
Thank you.
For a short presentation, please.
I don't know what the biggest challenge is. The future of the operations of the Black Sea, or keeping this presentation to the short length it probably needs to be. But thank you for your kind introduction. Very, very pleased to be here. Next slide, please. I wanted to talk a little bit about U-TacS very, very briefly, because we're fairly new in Romania, and we're fairly new as a name, but U-TacS stands for Unmanned Tactical Systems. It's what we do. It's the only thing we do, and I think we do it quite well. We're a joint venture company. Our parents are Elbit UK and Thales UK. It was formed in 2005 for the only purpose of providing an unmanned tactical UAV system to the British Army. Our responsibility now has been, for the last couple of years, has been the sale and marketing of the Watchkeeper X product, which is a derivation of the Watchkeeper program that initially formed us. 2 years ago, you'd have probably had a Thales representative here, but our responsibility over the course of that contract has been to deliver and support the UK's Watchkeeper program into Thales, who are the prime contractor. So I hope that explains a little bit about who U-TacS are. Again, Unmanned Tactical Systems. Everybody needs an acronym and letters these days, but that's who we are, and that's who I represent. Next slide, please. A little bit, some logos there are probably better than the words, but we're a systems integrator, as are the other companies you've heard from. Some big names again there. And I personally have spent most of this year, the challenges of COVID, etc., working with companies in Romania to form our offer of a Class 2 UAS. As a company, we've trained over 5,000 operators and maintainers. And as I said, transfer of technology to Romania is key to our offer. Next slide, please. Just talking about our parents, I mean, you know Thales very well, you know Elbit very well. Elbit bring the platform, Thales brought the sensor and the NATO connectivity, and that's what Watchkeeper is. But going forward and looking ahead, we've got the ability to integrate sensors, new sensors as they come along. As I said, we do one UAV, and as I said, we do it quite well. Next slide, please. What is Watchkeeper X? I mean, I've got to thank my predecessor from Elbit, because I think he's done a lot of the work for me. We're a tactical system. We integrate electro-optic IR sensors, GMTI, and we'll come on to marine moving target indicators, common intelligence, and a missile strike capability. We're the largest US program outside the US, and the arrow there is designed to show the sort of evolution. We built on Hermes 450 to make Thales Watchkeeper a NATO compatible and an IFF Mode 5 compatible unit. The Watchkeeper X program takes that and moves it to the next stage to offer ELINT and missile strike. Next one, please. Just an overview. The Elbit representative, I think, covered most of that. We're a tactical UAV. You can see it down on the bottom right. Much of the same characteristics as the Hermes 450. I think it's worthwhile saying now that it's a very highly certified platform. It's taken many years to get to the point where we can do things like fly in civilian airspace, and we can concentrate, much as he said, on the platform, on the sensors and the mission rather than the platform. The platform, at the end of the day, is a bus, and we can now focus on getting the right capability, which again, playing to one of the other presenters, is open architecture and it's modular, and we can change the sensors within the constraints of the weight limit and all the other things. Next slide, please. Just a quick overview of it, of Watchkeeper X. NATO interoperable IFF Mode 5. 2 sensor operations really important in the maritime field, which I'll come into in my last couple of slides. Proven weapon system. Certification takes a long time to get in NATO for NATO interoperability and the ability to operate in civilian airspace. We've done that. All the other things you expect from a tactical platform, automatic takeoff and landing, strategically highly mobile. And it's worth saying that the sensors on the system, very much the sort of sensors you find on a medium altitude UAV, but you get it in a smaller package. Next slide, please. Very quickly, maritime surveillance sequence. We can use our radar to do wide area detection and maritime moving target indication. That's basically trying to find what you need to, what's out there. Because it's dual sensor on the same platform, you can then switch to identify, which is electro-optic and infrared, and use your AIS to cross-reference what the platform is. So you've got a sequence of capabilities on one platform. And finally, we've mentioned Sonar Boy earlier. Again, VHF receiver into a man-machine interface that you're used to. So I think in one platform, a tactical platform, a small platform, you've got a lot of capability. Next slide, please. Just one quick second last slide. It's just an advert for the work that the British Army did last year in the Channel, with 20 miles from France. But the whole area that Watchkeeper surveyed was approaching 2,000 square miles. And we were looking for migrants coming over from France, up to 5,000, I think, last summer. And we were precise enough to be able to use the evidence from the camera to prosecute the smugglers. So it was a whole month over the Channel in a maritime environment doing what I tried to show in the previous slide. Last slide, please. Just a quick overview. NATO interoperable and weaponized, highly certified. I think IMASTER, has to be said from Thales, is the most, is I put the best, I'll keep saying the best, the performance on a UAV of this class, and it's operationally proven. I think I've spent a lot of my time with some very nice, meeting a lot of nice people in Romania, and the companies say we're in a good position to transfer technology here. And reaching back to the UK, I know the British Army who have operated this now for many years, have a lot of operational training experience that can be offered. The only thing I will say as a passing comment is that in common with all of these presentations, the sensor is only part of the chain. There's a lot of information that comes off all of these, and I think the infrastructure behind the sensor, back once you've got the information into the ground station, you start to disseminate. Because there's so much information there, my personal view is that's where a lot of the challenges will come. That's it.
Thank you very much. We have the last speaker, Captain Tzahi Appelman, consultant for Maritime and Advanced Program in EIE. It's Israel Air Division for Air. It's one sailor with 20-year experience on board missile boat SAR 5, commander, missile boat squadron, and senior operation position in Israel Navy. You have the floor, Captain. It's okay, we have the connection.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now it's okay.
Okay, I'm very pleased to be here today with you. Here with me is Eyal Meir, is the head of Europe marketing in III on the UAVs division. And I'll try to share my okay, I can see that you can see my presentation now. So before I start, I must say in 2008, I was a student in Naval War College in the USA, in the Newport, Rhode Island. And my classmate was Mihai Panait. Hello, Admiral.
Nice to hear you.
And this is a picture was taken in Haifa base when you visited us in 2013. In 2013, so I believe we meet more often, Admiral.
It's from personal collection, please. Yes?
Yes. Okay. So the III UAS division.
We have some problem with the automatic Cisco system, but we'll fix it in a second.
What shall we do?
I will sit next to my colleague.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
So US division is the pioneer, as you know, in the world, the leader of UAV systems for 40 years. And we have over 50 other customers around the world. And this is our portfolio. You can see here, we have UAVs from 5 kilos to 5 tons. And today we are focusing on this one. This is the tactical Heron and the Heron 1. And about the operational scenarios, I'm not talking about everything, but right now we are focusing on the SAR, the search and rescue, and the ASW anti-submarine warfare, as well as other missions in peacetime, in low intensity and high intensity, of course. The tactical Heron is the most progress aircraft we built especially for the maritime and land tactical needs. And we believe this is the aircraft can use in the Black Sea for Romanian MOD. The MTOW, the maximum takeoff weight of the aircraft is 60 kilos, and the endurance is about 24 hours. And the altitude of flight is up to 23,000 feet. And of course, several sensors. And the mission range is about 2,150 kilometers with line of sight, or with a SATCOM, of course, much larger. Of course, we have the Heron 1 is the most advanced UAS. You know it as a maritime aircraft. The Israeli Navy operates 6 Heron like this and others. And the Frontex mission in Greece operates it also. I'll talk about it later a little bit. When we are talking about land mission, we discuss about the complicated target, ISAR picture, multiple targets, illegal activity under civil cover, vast area to contain, aviation regulation, and in all of this in any weather operation. Of course, we would like to fly 24/7 hours. In the maritime challenge, we are dealing with the intense traffic at marine arena, the maritime arena, valuable assets in the EEZ, constant threats across maritime borders. Of course, we know there is a lack of governance control in open seas, illegal activities, fishing, smuggling, illegal migration, piracy, and so on, terror at sea and terror from the sea, and global submarine growth, and global submarine growing threat around the globe, as well as in the Black Sea. The sensors are variable. First, we have the EOIR and the famous radar of ELTA, AIS, IFF, ESM, ELINT, and COMINT, the Sonobuoy system, and the MAD system, the magnetic anomaly detector. I'll talk about it a little bit later. And all of this communicated to the ground station via line of sight or via satellite communication for 2 reasons. We use the satellite communication to enlarge the distances of the mission, so we can send the aircraft very, very far from the ground station. And the second reason is that we would like to fly very low for 2 reasons. For the radar, to detect very small targets, like small boats or submarine periscope or masts. And for the MAD system, magnetic anomaly detector, to detect submarine, we have to fly very, very low. And we have this ability, of course. This map emphasized that we can control the aircraft all around the Black Sea with SATCOM until 1,000 kilometers. The aircraft can fly over there, no problem. You can control all the Black Sea easily by the SATCOM. And if you use the line of sight, of course, there is a 250 kilometers, the small radius that you can see. This is a typical mission, maritime mission with the tactical Heron that fly over the Black Sea with a radius where it starts to operate its radar, and it rely via the satellite to the ground station, and from there to the headquarters. So once it operates the radar and we conduct the target, we would like to conduct this target with the arrow. We can detect its ISAR, its AIS, its EOIR, of course. And this is a typical mission in the maritime arena. You can do it for all of these targets, of course, easily. The ASW mission concept of operation, we divide it to three. First is the detecting of the surface detection. For this, we would like to conduct the submarine periscopes and masts. And for this, we use the radar, of course, the EOIR, and the SIGINT, ELINT, and COMINT. And this is for the surface part of the ASW. We believe it is very, very important. Second, we use the sonobuoy detection. We can drop sonobuoys, also processing the data in the ground station. And for this, we have to fly. A typical flight in the maritime mission is 3,000 to 5,000 feet. So we do it with a sonobuoy. And once we have a suspicious position or a datum of a submarine, the aircraft is going very low and use its MAD sensor, magnetic anomaly detector, to be sure there is a submarine. If there is a submarine, this sensor conduct it for sure, and then you can do with this target, you can pass it to the torpedo shooter. So to conclude this ASW concept of operation, we have a multi-sensor to detect, to track, and classify submarine threats, pinpointing an underwater target for torpedo shooter, low altitude, long endurance mission. This is very important for the ASW, and can operate alone as full ASW mission. You can take all the ASW mission in one aircraft, or you can divide it into two aircraft with the tactical Heron and Heron 1. Heron 1 will be the one who take the sonobuoy and drop them, and the tactical Heron will take the communication and relay the data from the sonobuoys to the ground station. And the aircraft, it can be UAV, it can be manned aircraft, never mind. That drops the sonobuoy, you can drop it, and once you have to, the fuel is empty, and you can go to reload the sonobuoys or to reload the fuel or everything. The tactical arm still there for 24 hours, conduct all the sonobuoys in the water to the ground station. Few words about Frontex mission. As we talk, this mission is operating in Greece, and this is a very good experience for us. And the factor to successful operation in Greece are the mature, proven, and reliable system, large coverage water area, hundreds of targets. We're tracking simultaneously hundreds of targets, 100 targets, sorry. The duration that the Hellenic Navy operates is about 8 to 18 hours easily. It's a daily mission.
Captain, I have a request for you. Please finish your presentation in 1 minute, please.
Okay. So two more slides. The first is this. I would like to show you during this Frontex. Right now, there is identification of different types of vessels with no AIS in the Mediterranean Sea. You can see here vessels that didn't operate an AIS, and the aircraft conducted it. And each aircraft got this ticket that you can see in the left side. Everything about it. You can see the target transmitted AIS only for short periods, and we can detect it and detect this target especially. Of course, we can conduct small targets like you see here, illegal immigrants and other small aircraft. For summary, we offer reliable platform with long endurance, advanced sensors, advanced technology, automation, and cost effective. Of course, all the issues that the captain before said, what is important for the Romanian Navy, we are on it, and we can do everything you ask. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Captain. No time for questions, no time for coffee. We'll start a new panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.